Good afternoon, class, and now let's discuss lesson 2 titled Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. But before we start, let us have our objective first. At the end of the module, the students can discuss on how a professional teacher behaves in the practice of the teaching profession and apply selected provisions in the Code of Ethics in the abbreviated case scenario relevant to the practice of the teaching profession. And now, let's discuss the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. The Preamble. Teachers are duly licensed professionals who possess dignity and reputation with high moral values as well as technical and professional competence in the practice of their noble profession. They strictly adhere to, observe, and practice this set of ethical and moral principles, standards, and values. This preamble highlights the expectations and standards for teachers, emphasizing the importance of professionalism, moral values, and adherence to ethical principles. It serves as an introduction to a code of ethics or set of guidelines that teachers are expected to follow in the practice of their profession. Such ethical guidelines are common in many professional fields to ensure the responsible and ethical conduct of practitioners. Under the Article 1 Scope and Limitations, there is Section 1. In Section 1, the Philippine Constitution provides that all educational institutions shall offer quality education for all Filipino citizens, a vision that requires professionally competent teachers committed to its full realization. The provisions of this code shall apply, therefore, to all teachers in all schools in the Philippines. Section 1 establishes the foundation for the subsequent provisions of the Code, emphasizing the constitutional mandate for quality education, the importance of professionally competent teachers, and the universal applicability of the Code to all teachers in the Philippines. It sets the overarching context for the regulations and ethical guidelines that follow in the document. Next is the Section 2. This code covers all public and private school teachers in all educational institutions at the preschool, primary, elementary, and secondary levels, whether academic, vocational, special, technical, or non-formal. Section 2 expands the coverage of the code to a broad range of teachers working in diverse educational settings and roles. It emphasizes inclusivity by encompassing various educational levels, types, and functions within the teaching profession. Next is the Article 2, the teacher and the state. Under the Article 2, there is Section 1. The Section 1, it is the schools or the nurseries of the citizens of the state. Each teacher is a trustee of the cultural and educational heritage of the nation and is under obligation to transmit to learners such as heritage as well as to elevate national morality, promote national pride, cultivate love and of country, instill allegiance to the Constitution and respect all duly constituted authorities, and promote obedience to the laws of the state. Section 1 outlines the profound responsibilities of teachers as custodians of cultural and educational heritage, with a focus on shaping the character and values of learners to contribute positively to society and the nation. Next is Section 2. Every teacher or school shall actively help carry out the declared policies of the state and shall take an oath to this effect. Section 2 mandates not only the active or participation of teachers and schools in aligning with state policies, but also the formal commitment through the taking of an oath. This reflects the idea that educators play a crucial role in the implementation of broader societal goals and that their commitment is a formal and integral part of the educational system. Next is the Section 3. In Section 3, it is the interest of the state of the Filipino people as much as of his own. Every teacher shall be physically, mentally, and morally fit. In Section 3, it underscores the holistic well-being of teachers by emphasizing their physical, mental, and moral fitness. It positions the health and fitness of teachers is not only an individual concern but also a matter of national interest. Recognizing the significant role teachers play in the development of the Filipino people and the state. Next is the Section 4. It says that every teacher shall possess and actualize full commitment and devotion to duty. It explains that the importance of teachers complete the commitment and devotion to their professional duties. This commitment is not only a state of mind, but also an active and ongoing engagement with the responsibilities inherent in the teaching profession. This dedication is crucial for fostering a positive and effective learning environment for students. Next is the Section 5. It says that a teacher shall not engage in the promotion of any political, religious, or other partisan interest and shall not directly or indirectly solicit, require, collect, or receive any money, service, other valuable material from any person or entity for such purposes. This explains that the underlying rationale for this section is to ensure that the teachers maintain a sense of impartiality and objectivity in the classroom, avoiding any influence that could compromise the quality of education or create biases among students. Teachers are expected to focus on their educational role without being swayed by political or religious affiliations, and they are prohibited from seeking or receiving benefits that could compromise their professional independence. Next, in Section 6, it says that every teacher shall vote and shall exercise all other constitutional rights and responsibilities. It explains that the principle of a teacher is that as citizens are not only responsible for imparting knowledge but also for actively participating in the democratic process and fulfilling their civic duties. By exercising their constitutional rights and responsibilities, teachers set an example for their students and contribute to the development and maintenance of a healthy democratic society. Next is the Section 7. Under this, it says that a teacher shall not use his position or official authority of influence to coerce any other person to follow any political course of actions. In Section 7, it explains that it seeks to ensure that teachers do not abuse their position or authority to influence others politically. It underscores the importance of maintaining an impartial educational atmosphere that encourages free thought and independent political choices among students and others in the educational community. And lastly, the Section 8. Under this section, it says that every teacher shall enjoy academic freedom and shall have the privilege of sharing the product of his researches and investigations, provided that if the results are inimical to the declared policies of the state, they shall be drawn to the proper authorities for appropriate remedial actions. Furthermore, it explains that Section 8 upholds the principle of academic freedom for teachers, allowing them the freedom to pursue research and share their findings. However, it underscores the importance of responsible conduct by stipulating that if research results are at odds with state policies, they should be reported for appropriate remedial action, ensuring alignment with the broader goals and principles set by the state.
Next is Article 3, the teacher and the community. Section 1. So in Section 1, it emphasizes the teacher's main role, which is to help students learn and develop. To achieve this, the teacher should provide the best possible services. These include creating an environment that is suitable and helpful for students to learn and grow. Next is section 2. So in this section, it emphasizes that teachers should be leaders, actively participating in community efforts aimed at enhancing moral values, social connection, education, the economy, and civic betterment. This means that teachers play a role not only in the classroom, but also in contributing to the overall betterment of the community they serve. Next is section 3. So in this section, it emphasizes that every teacher deserves fair and social recognition. To achieve this recognition, teachers should always act with honor and dignity, avoiding activities that could negatively impact their reputation, such as gambling, smoking, drunkenness, and other excessive behaviors. Next is section 4. So in this section, it outlines that every teacher is expected to play a role in maintaining positive connections between the school and the local community. To achieve this, teachers are encouraged to learn and comprehend the customs and traditions of the community, aiming to avoid making negative remarks or showing disrespect towards the community. Next is section 5. In this section, every teacher is required to assist the school in keeping the community informed about the school activities, achievements, needs, and challenges. This emphasizes the importance of communication and transparency between the school and the local community. So teachers play a key role in ensuring that the community is aware of the school efforts and areas where support may be needed. Next is section 6. So in this section, it highlights the teacher's role beyond the classroom, emphasizing their potential to contribute to intellectual and community development by offering guidance and participating in community welfare matters. Next is section 7. So in this section, it is outlined that every teacher should foster positive connections and maintain effective communication with various stakeholders, contributing to a collaborative and supportive environment. Next is section 8. So in this section, it highlights the personal freedom of teachers to participate in religious activities. And teachers should maintain professional boundaries and refrain from using their position to impose personal beliefs on others within the educational setting. Let's now proceed to Article 4, the teacher and the profession. Section 1. So in this section, it underscores the importance of teachers not only seeing their profession as honorable, but also actively expressing pride, contributing to the positive perception of teaching as a noble pursuit. Next is section 2. So in this section, it highlights the commitment of teachers to provide excellent education, be well prepared for their role, and consistently deliver their best efforts in teaching. Next is section 3. So in this section, it is stated that every teacher shall participate in continuing professional education program provided by the PRC. This section emphasizes the importance of ongoing learning and professional development to enhance the skill, reputation, and global competitiveness of teachers. Next is section 4. So in this section, it emphasizes the ethical and proper ways teachers should contribute to seeking support for the school, cautioning against any misleading or inappropriate methods, particularly through personal advertisement. Thus, it underscores the importance of integrity and transparency in the efforts to secure support for educational institutions. Lastly is section 5. So in this section, it highlights the importance of teachers maintaining professionalism and integrity in their work.
So next is the Article 5, the teacher and the teaching community. So Section 1, teachers shall at all times, imbued with the spirit of professional loyalty, mutual confidence, and faith in one another, self-sacrifice for the common good, and full cooperation with colleges. When the best interest of the learners, the school, or the profession is at stake in any controversy, teachers shall support one another. So in section 1 establishes a set of principles for teachers emphasizing professional loyalty, mutual confidence, self-sacrifice for the common good, and cooperation with colleges. It specifically instructs the teacher to support each other when the best interests of learners, the school, or the teacher profession are in question. For example, if there is a disagreement or controversy about a proposed change in teaching methods with a school, teachers following this code might engage in constructive dialogue with each other and work collaboratively to find a solution that serves the best of the students, the school, and the overall profession. This could involve sharing perspectives, comprising on certain aspects, and ultimately prioritizing the common good over individual preference or concerns. Next is Section 2. A teacher is not entitled to claim for work not of his own, and shall give the due credit for the work of others which he may use. So in Section 2, establishes guidelines for intellectual honesty among teachers. It states that a teacher is not allowed to claim credit for work they did not produce and shall appropriate credit the work of others that they use. For example, if a teacher incorporates a lesson plan, educational materials, or research findings created by another colleagues into their own teaching, they are obligated to acknowledge and give credit to the original creator. This ensures ethical and professional behavior in academic community, promoting transparency and respect for intellectual contributions. Next is Section 3. Before leaving his position, a teacher shall organize and leave his successor such records and other data as necessary to carry on the work. So in Section 3, outlines a responsibility for teachers to ensure a smooth transition when leaving their position. It states that a teacher should organize and provide their successor with the necessary records and data to contribute the work seamlessly. For example, if a teacher decides to retire or move to another school, they should compile and organize essential documents such as lesson plans, grading records, and any other pertinent information. This thoughtful preparation helps the incoming teacher to understand the progress of the students, the curriculum, and other classroom dynamics, facilitating a more efficient and effective transition. Section 4. A teacher shall hold inviolate all confidential information concerning associate and the school, and shall not divulge to anyone documents which have not yet been officially released, or remove records from the files without official permissions. Section 4 emphasizes the importance of maintaining confidentiality for teachers. It states that teachers should keep all confidential information about colleges and the school secure. Furthermore, teachers should not disclose documents that have not been officially released and should not remove records from files without proper authorization. For example, if a teacher has access to sensitive information about a colleague or has knowledge for forthcoming school decisions that have not been publicly disclosed, it is their professional duty to keep such information confidential. Sharing this information without official authorization would violate this ethical guideline. This ensures a secure and trustworthy professional environment within the school community. Section 5. It shall be responsibility of every teacher to seek correctives for what may appear to be unprofessional and unethical conduct of any associate. This may be done only if there is incontrovertible evidence for such conduct. So Section 5 outlines the responsibility of teachers to address what they perceive as unprofessional or unethical conduct by their colleges. However, this action is only appropriate if there is a clear and disputable evidence of such behavior. For example, if a teacher observes a colleague engaging in behavior that is inconsistent with professional standards, such as academic dishonesty or mistreatment of students, they should follow the proper channels to address this issue. This might involve reporting the behavior to the school administration or relevant authorities, providing concrete evidence to support the claim. This section encourages a commitment to professional integrity and accountability within the teaching community. Next is Section 6. A teacher may submit to the proper authorities any justifiable criticism against an associate, preferably in writing, without violating any right of individual concerned. So in Section 6, allows teacher to submit justifiable criticism against their colleges to the appropriate authorities, preferably in writing without inferring upon the rights of the individual concerned. For example, if a teacher becomes aware of colleague consistently neglecting their professional responsibilities, such as not completing necessary paperwork or regularly arriving late to class, the observing teacher may choose to document this concern in a right report submitted to the school administration. This section underscores the importance of constructive criticism and accountability within the teaching profession, while emphasizing the need to respect the rights of individuals involved. Next is Section 7. A teacher may apply for a vacant position for which he is qualified, provided that he respects the system of selection on the basis of merit and competence, provided further that all qualified candidates are given the opportunity to be considered. So in Section 7 states that a teacher is allowed to apply for a vacant position they are qualified for, as long as they respect the selection system based on merit and competence. It further emphasizes that all qualified candidates should be given the opportunity to be considered. For example, if a teaching position becomes available with the school, a teacher who meets the qualification and requirements for the position can submit an application. However, they should ensure that the application process is fair, transparent, and follows the principles of merit and competence, allowing all qualified candidates an equal chance to compete for the position. This section encourages ethical and fair practices in job application within the teaching profession. Next is Article 6, the teacher and higher authorities in the Philippines. Section 1. A teacher shall make it his duty to make an honest effort to understand and support the legitimate policies of the school and the administration regardless of professional feeling or private opinion and shall faithfully carry them out. And Section 1 emphasizes a teacher's responsibility to sincerely try to comprehend and endorse the legitimate policies of the school and its administration. This study is expected to be fulfilled regardless of personal or professional feelings and private opinions, with the teacher committed to faithfully implementing these policies. For example, if a school adopts a new teaching methodology or curriculum policy, a teacher following these guidelines would strive to understand the rationale behind the change and actively supports its implementation. Even if the teacher personally prefers a different approach, The commitment is to align with the carry-out of established policies in the best interest of the school and its educational objectives. Next is Section 2. A teacher shall not make any false accusation or charges against superiors, especially under anonymity. However, if there are valid charges, he should present such as under oath or competent authority. So this section 2 underscores the importance of honesty and responsibility in communication within the teaching profession. It states that a teacher should refrain from making false accusations or charges against superiors, particularly when hiding behind anonymity. However, if there are legitimate concerns, the teacher is encouraged to represent them under oath to the competent authority. For example, if a teacher believes there are serious issues with a policy implemented by a school administrator, they should refrain from spreading unfounded rumors or making baseless complaints. Instead, if there are valid concerns, the teacher should gather evidence and present the issue formally, perhaps through a written complaint submit to the appropriate authority, ensuring accountability and transparency in addressing any problems. Next is Section 3. A teacher shall transact all official business through channels except when special conditions warrant a different procedure, such as when reform are advocated but are opposed by the immediate superior, in which case the teacher shall appear directly to the appropriate higher authority. So in section 3 outlines the protocol for teachers to allow when conducting official business. It recommends using established channels for communication unless special circumstances necessitate a different approach. An exception is noted for situations where reform or proposed but face opposition from the immediate superior. In such cases, teachers are permitted to directly approach the higher authority. For example, if a teacher has an innovative idea for improving teaching methods but encounters resistance from their immediate superior, this section allows the teacher to bring the proposal directly to a higher ranking authority, bypassing the usual channels. This provision acknowledges the need for flexibility and communication when advocating for positive changes that might face resistance at lower levels of administrative hierarchy. Next is Section 4. A teacher, individually or as a part of a group, has a right to seek redress against injustice and discrimination, and to extent possible, shall raise the grievances within democratic processes. In doing so, he shall avoid jeopardizing the interests and welfare of learners whose right to learn must be respected. So, in Section 4 acknowledges a teacher's right to address and rectify issues of injustice and discrimination, either individually or as a part of a group. It encourages the use of democratic process to resolve grievances. Importantly, it emphasizes that in pursuing redress, teachers should be mindful not to jeopardize the interests and welfare of learners, respecting their right to learn. For example, if a teacher believes they are being unfairly treated or discriminated against, they may choose to raise their concern through appropriate democratic channels within the school or educational institution. These might involve filing a complaint with the school administration or participating in discussion with the Teachers Association. However, section emphasizes that while pursuing justice, teachers should avoid actions that harm the well-being, and learning opportunities of the students they serve. Next is Section 5. A teacher has a right to invoke principles that appointments, promotions, and transfers of teachers are made only on the basis of merit and need in the interest of the service. So in Section 5 asserts a teacher's right to advocate of the principle that appointments, promotions, and transfers of teachers should be conducted solely on the basis of merit and the needs of the service, emphasizing fairness and competence in such decisions. For example, if a teacher observes a promotion process in which colleague is being overlooked despite having unnecessary qualifications and skills, they have the right to speak up for the principle of merit-based promotions. This might involve advocating for a fair and transparent evaluation process that prioritizes the qualifications and capabilities of the candidates over the considerations. Next is Section 6. A teacher who accepts a position assumes a contractual obligation to live up to his contract, assuming full acknowledge of employment terms and conditions. So in Section 6 underscores that when a teacher accepts a position, they are entering into a contractual obligation to fulfill the terms and conditions of their employment. It implies a commitment to understanding and adhering to the agreed-upon terms of their contract. For example, if a teacher signs a contract with a school that specifies certain duties, work hours, and responsibilities, this section emphasizes that the teacher is obligated to honor these commitments. It stresses the importance of teachers being aware of and complying with the terms and conditions of their employment agreements.
And now let's move on to lesson 2, which is the Article 7 official or school officials, teachers, and other personnel. In Article 7, we have 4 sections. First, we have Section 1, which is school officials shall at all times show professional courtesy, helpfulness, and sympathy towards teachers and other personnel, such as practices being standards of effective school supervision, dignified administration, responsible leadership, and enlightened direction. Next, we have Section 2. School officials, teachers, and other personnel shall consider it their cooperative responsibility to formulate policies or introduce important changes in the system at all levels. In Section 3, school officials encourage and attend to the professional growth of all teachers under them, such as recommending them for promotion, giving the due look recognition of meritorious performance, and allowing them to participate in conference and training program. Now, next, Section 4. No school officials shall dismiss or recommend for dismissal a teacher or other subordinates except for cause. And the last, which is Section 5 under Article 7, school authorities concerned shall ensure that public school teachers are employed in coordinate with pertinent civil service rules, and other school teachers are issued contracts specifying the terms of conditions of their work, provided provided that they are given, if qualified, subsequent permanent tenure in accordance with existing laws, and provided further that they are duly registered and licensed professional teachers. Okay, we're done discussing about Article 7, which is school officials, teachers, and other personnel. And now, let's move on to Article 8, which is the teacher and the learners. In Section 1, our teacher has a right and duty to determine the academic mark and the promotion of learners and the subjects they handle. Such determination shall be accordance with generally accepted procedures or evaluations and measurements. In case of any complement, teachers concerned shall immediately take appropriate actions, observing the process. Next, we have Section 2 under Article 8, which is a teacher shall recognize that the interests and welfare of the learners are his first and foremost concern, and shall handle each learner justly and impartially. In Section 3, under no circumstance shall a teacher be prejudiced nor discriminatory against the learner. In Section 4, a teacher shall not accept favors and gifts from learners, their parents, and others in their behalf on exchange for request concessions, especially in undeserved. In Section 5, a teacher shall not accept, directly or indirectly, any remunerations from tutorials other than what is authorized for such service. In Section 6, a teacher shall base the evaluation of the learner's work on merit or qualify for academic performance. In Section 7, in situation where mutual attraction of subsequent love develop between teachers and learner, the teacher shall exercise utmost professional discretion to avoid scandal, gossip, and preferential treatment for the teacher. In Section 8, a teacher shall not inflict corporal punishment on offending learners, nor make deductions from their scholastic ratings as punishment for acts which are clearly not manifestations of poor scholarship. In Section 9, a teacher shall ensure that conditions contributive to maximum development of teachers are adequate and shall extend assistance in preventing or solving learners' problems or difficulties.
Article 9. The teacher and the parents. In Article 9, Section 1 emphasizes the role and the responsibility of a teacher in fostering positive relationship with the parents. It stipulates that a teacher is expected to initiate and sustain friendly connection with the parents, and in doing so, conduct themselves in a manner that deserves trust, confidence, and respect of the parents. Article 9, Section 1 underscores the significance of nurturing a respectful and cooperative relationship between teacher and parents, recognizing the pivotal role that parental environment plays in a student's educational success and overall growth. In Article 9, Section 2, the focus is on the responsibility of teachers to communicate effectively with parents regarding the progress or areas of improvement needed for the students under their guidance. This section mandates that teacher must inform parents using appropriate channels or authorities about the advancement or shortcomings observed in the student they teach. In Section 2, underscores the teacher's obligation to communicate openly and respectfully with parents, utilizing proper channels to discuss students' progress and areas for improvement. It stresses that the importance of constructive dialogue between teachers and parents to collectively support and guide students toward academic achievement and personal development. In Article 9, Section 3, the emphasis on how teachers should handle complaints from parents. This section outlined that a teacher should approach parental complaints with an empathy and understanding. When a parents express their concern or grievances, teachers are expected to listen attentively, showing sympathy towards the issue raised. In Section 3 underscores the importance of the teachers handling parental complaints with empathy and fairness, seeking to address concern constructively while discouraging any unfair criticism within the educational community. Article 10. The teacher and the business. In Article 10, Section 1, the focus is on delineating the rights of teachers to engage in legitimate income-generating activities outside their primary role as educators. This section acknowledges and affirms the right of teachers to pursue other sources of income, whether directly or indirectly, as long as these activities do not interfere with or negatively impact the responsibilities and duties as teacher. Section 1 aims to strike a balance between acknowledging teachers' rights to engage in other income-generating activities and ensuring that such engagement do not impede their effectiveness or commitment to their primary role as educators. Section 2 focuses on the financial conduct and reputation of teachers. This section underscores the importance of teachers maintaining a good standing and reputation in financial matters, specifically in the settlement of their just debts, loan, and other financial affairs. In Section 2 emphasizes the responsibility of teachers to manage their financial affairs prudently and settle their just debts and obligation in a manner that upholds their integrity and contributes to maintaining a positive reputation within the community. Lastly, in Section 3, the focus is on preventing conflicts of the interest and ensuring the ethical conduct of teachers in relation to commercial ventures involving textbooks and school related commodities. This section prohibits teachers from acting as agent or having a financial interest in any commercial venture that supplies textbook or other commodities if their official influence can affect the purchase or disposal of this item. In Section 3 emphasizes the importance of preventing conflicts of interest in the procurement of educational materials and aims to maintain the ethical conduct and impartiality of a teacher in matters related to commercial ventures involving textbook and school commodities.
Article 11. The teacher as a person. So in section 1, a teacher shall live with dignity in all places at all times. So ang isang guro ay dapat manatiling may dignidad sa lahat ng sitwasyon at lugar. Ito ay nangangahulugang may pangako silang itaguyod ang isang respetadong at marangal na ugali sa buong buhay nila. Section 2. A teacher shall place premium upon self-respect and self-discipline as the principal behavior in all relationship with others and in all situations. So, ang isang guro ay dapat magbigay halaga sa kanyang sariling respeto at disiplina bilang pangunahing ugali sa lahat ng pakikipag-ugnayan sa iba at sa lahat ng sitwasyon. Ito ay naglaman ng prinsipyong mahalaga na pagtataguyod ng paggalang sa sarili at disiplina sa lahat ng kanilang ugnayan sa iba't ibang tao at sa lahat ng mga pagkakataon. Section 3. A teacher shall maintain all times a dignified personality which could serve as a model worthy of emulation by learners, peers, and others. So, in Section 3, this is emphasizes that a teacher should constantly exhibit a dignified personality, serving as a role model or worthy of emulation for learners, peers, and others. 4. A teacher shall always recognize the Almighty God or being as guide of his own destiny and of the destinies of men and nations. So, in section 4 also, it is emphasized that a teacher should always acknowledge the Almighty God or higher being as the guide for their own destiny and the destinies of the individuals and nations. So in Article 12, Disciplinary Action, Section 1, any violation of any provision of this code shall be sufficient ground for the imposition against the erring teachers of disciplinary actions consisting of revocation of the certificate or registration and license as professional teachers, suspension from the practice of teaching profession, reprimand or cancellation of his temporary special permit under causes specified in Section 23, Article 3 or RA number 3, 7836, and under Rule 31, Article um, 7 of the Rules and Regulations implementing in RA number 7836. So in Article 12, Section 1 stipulates that any violation of code warrants disciplinary action for the teacher. Possible ma-face niya mga consequences include, so moabot na dito ang i-revocate na ang imuhang certificate of registration as professional ka nga teacher, or kahit pa even nga kanang professional na ka, so kailangan gapon kay i-suspend. It's because you are not you are ground. So because you are ground. Suspension from teaching, so dili na ka makatudlo kasi ground man ka. Then next, cancellation of temporary special permits. So the ground for such as actions are specified in the Section 23, Article 3, or Republic Act number 7836, as well as Rule 31, Article 7 also, in the rules and regulation implementing the said law.